Greetings traders, my name is Steve Greger and I'm here today to tell you just a little bit about TradeCalc and how it can be used to help you with your Forex trading. As you'll notice when you first open up TradeCalc, there are four variables that are pretty important and they set the tone for everything you're going to do with TradeCalc. The first one includes the value of a pip, and the value of a pip is merely reflective of the size trading account you're in. So if you have a $10,000 contract, say a mini account, that would be $1 a pip. If you're in a standard contract, $100,000 contract, that would be $10 a pip. Micro account, $10 a pip, $1,000 contract. So you would put in the value of the pip, the core equity in your account balance, how much you're willing to put at risk in the trade, and of course the size of your stop loss. With those four variables input, TradeCalc will then tell you how many lots you can put in the trade. This is very valuable. A lot of traders I've worked with over the last 6 and 7 years just can't quite figure out how to do position sizing. So TradeCalc will do that for you. It'll also tell you, in this particular case, the value of the lots you have in the stop loss, which means if your stop loss got totally overrun, that's how much this trade would cost you and would be deducted from your balance, in this case leaving you $2,450. Of course, in today's market, we have recent activities from the CFTC, which have forced leverage to be a consideration. Therefore, margin becomes a consideration. So we can get the margin per lot that your broker charges you in a couple of different ways. One easy way down here in the middle of the screen, let's say we're talking about the euro, and let's say the current price of the euro, as like when I'm making this video, is at 137.21. What you would do is simply multiply that by, in this case, if we're trading a mini account, a $10,000 contract, and divide that by 50, which gives us our 50-to-1 leverage. And that number in this case would be something like $274.42. So we can put that right in there, 274.42. And now we get a little bit more information in regards to what's going to happen to our account if we put those 5 lots in our account, which is putting 2% of our account at risk into the trade. Not only will we have $50 in our stop loss in case we get totally run out, but it shows us that we have $1,372 we have to pay in deposit, for the margin, in order to put those 5 lots into the trade. It's essentially the 274.42 times the 5 lots in the trade. It gives us that margin. Now remember, if you do get stopped out, that margin does get returned to you. But what this does show you is that when you put 5 lots into the trade at 2% risk and you use up that's 54% of the account. And then of course if we look at the margin and the stop loss, we get 56% of our account, which essentially means we cannot place another trade even in the same direction in this account at this point in time. So we have to wait for this trade to conclude at the risk level, stop loss, all these 4 variables concluded before we can get another trade. So being able to accommodate margin is a fairly recent requirement, merely because the leverage now does come into play. TradeCalc also has a few other things that we can do. Let's say we're projecting that we're going to make, let's say 55 pips in a trade. So I just entered that right here. And if we enter that information, then TradeCalc will then produce some profit and performance information. Tells us we made 55 pips on the trade. Since we had 5 lots in the trade, it's actually 275 total pips, and at $1 a pip, it's $275. Our risk reward ended up being 5.5 to 1 in this case because we made 55 pips on a 10 pip stop loss. And down here then you see we had an 11% return on account for that particular trade. Now we can take this one step further, and in a non-compounded way, just this very simplistic, but in a non-compounded way, let's say we wanted to earn 20% in a given month. Now period here could be anything. It could be month, it could be week, but if we wanted 20% there, we can then enter this, and what this essentially tells us is we need about 1.8 trades like this to give us 20% per month. So there you have it, pretty simple. You could play around with it. You're not going to break anything. Enjoy. If you have any questions, you can always write us at admin@pipglobe.com. Hope you enjoy.